This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Here.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, tonight we have several proclamations.
This? How many should we get from Toyota?
Somebody here from the Toyota? Tom?
Push the bottom.
Bottom.
Andy.
Every year, Hackensack has a wonderful 4th of July fireworks display, and it takes the effort of many sponsors and a lot of different people to make it work. And we have the honor of having several sponsors here tonight, so we're going to give them some proclamations. So from Toyota of Hackensack, our proclamation reads, whereas Frank C. Holtham has been a successful owner and operator of Toyota of Hackensack for 35 years. And whereas Frank's internal drive for achievement began at a young age, as a son of a car enthusiast, he became the owner of Leonard Toyota, and within his first year of operation, he sold 975 new and 200 used vehicles. And whereas in 1999, he made the move to expand his business and purchased the location that is now Toyota of Hackensack. In 2015, the car showroom underwent a major expansion, including landscaping and a modern building redesign. And whereas Toyota of Hackensack was one of the top 60 dealers in the country and top 10 dealerships in the New York region since 2010 in every category, parts, service, and sales, and has won the prestigious President's Award 8 times. And whereas Frank has proved that hard work and planning pays off, he always enjoys a new challenge, including his personal achievement of earning a private pilot's license. And whereas these accomplishments are matched by Frank's generosity in giving back to Hackensack's football team, recreation center, Board of Commerce, along with sponsorship to various organizations as the Joy of Life Foundation, Alexis Lemonade Stand, Alzheimer Awareness, and the Frank C. Holtham Foundation for Children with Autism and Hackensack University Medical Center, to name a few. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrus Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the Hackensack City Council, acknowledge and thank Hackensack Toyota for their generous donation of $20,000 for the city's 4th of July celebration and ongoing commitment to the well-being and future of our great city. So thank you so much. And give Frank our thanks. We appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Next up. All right, I have one for Alfred Sands. I don't think one's here. No one's here. But Alfred Sands is another great business from Hackensack. He's been here for years. And Mr. Sands, David Sands, his whole family has been generous through the years. So whereas Alfred Sands Enterprises, headquartered in Hackensack, New Jersey, is a multi-generation family-owned and managed business and one of New Jersey's premier real estate developer, owner, and manager of commercial, residential, and hospitality real estate, founded in 1945. And whereas Sands Enterprise continues to strategically expand and diversify its industry-leading portfolio through both development and acquisitions. And whereas the company prides itself on integrity and is known for the quality, design, and construction of its buildings. The property management team is a proactive and responsive and has outstanding relationships with their tenants. And whereas many of Alfred Sands properties are iconic landmarks in their respective markets, including Alfred N. Sanzari Medical Arts Building in Hackensack, as well as the Glen Point Office Complex and Glen Point Marriott in Teaneck. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrus Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the City Council, acknowledge and thank Alfred Sanzari Enterprises for their generous donation of $10,000 for the city's 4th of July celebration and ongoing commitment to the well-being and future of our great city. So thank you to the Sanzari family. And next, and another good friend to Hackensack who's been around for years, who also has a business here and has a business in a lot of places. Whereas the Insera family, that's ShopRite if you don't know who the Inseras are.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Going to come?
I'm sorry. Oh, you're
I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. And you are? Rob Wilson. That's because I put you in out of order. My bad. Sorry. Good. Thank you. Thanks for coming down tonight.
Thank you for having us.
So it reads, whereas the Insera family has been a member of the Hackensack community since 1995 when they began working on the store at 500 South River Street, and whereas on November 7th, 1997, members of the community and local residents celebrated the grand opening of the family-owned and operated ShopRite of Hackensack. And whereas the Insera family motto has always been proud to be a family business serving families in providing the highest quality products at the most reasonable prices, including a variety of delicious prepared foods and soups, a cafe, catering department, and a large selection of produce, including organic and farm-to-table locally grown from New Jersey farms. And whereas the company remains true to the mission established by the late Lawrence and Sarah to always lend a helping hand to those in need, and whereas Insera Supermarkets proudly supports Hackensack food pantries, area hospitals, public and private schools, churches and temples, local chapters of the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, cultural and recreation events, youth sports teams, police and fire departments, and veterans. And whereas the city of Hackensack is very grateful for Insera Supermarkets Incorporated generosity and ongoing support in this initiative and the overall revitalization of our city. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the members of the Hackensack City Council, acknowledge and thank Insera Supermarkets Incorporated for their $5,000 donation to the city's 4th of July celebration and their ongoing commitment on the well-being and future of our great city. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir.
What's next? Okay. We have another sponsor who's very familiar with Hackensack. Whereas Neglia Engineering Associates is one of the most well-respected... Oh, come on up, Greg. I'm sorry. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for coming tonight. Whereas Neglia Engineering Associates is one of the most well-respected, versatile, and accomplished professional engineering firms in the industry, providing quality work and superior client services for both the public and private sectors. And whereas founded in 1948, Neglia Engineering provides planning, engineering, operators, land surveying, and construction service, and is committed to innovation and design quality. Whereas Neglia Engineering has demonstrated its proficiency for developing an idea and making it a reality, as the firm employs highly qualified professionals to provide guidance and direction for the most efficient transition through projects, and are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas Neglia's Engineering Associates make the primary goal to be cost conscious without sacrificing efficiency and project integrity. To facilitate funding, the firm carefully explores all opportunities to offset costs with state and federal funding, creating feasible projects. And whereas Neglia's Engineering's ambition and satisfaction is transforming the client's vision into reality and ensuring that each venture unites both present and future needs. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the City Council, acknowledge and thank Neglia Engineering Associates for their $5,000 donation to the city's 4th of July celebration and their ongoing commitment to the well-being and future of our great city. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg.
And last but not least, would you two young ladies like to step up, please? To Lisa or, we got both. We got Lisa and Terry. How you guys doing? In this proclamation, this is for Hackensack Meridian Health, Hackensack University Medical Center, and it reads, whereas Hackensack Meridian Health, Hackensack University Medical Center is the largest provider of inpatient and outpatient services in the state, and whereas founded in 1888 as the county's first hospital, and is now part of the largest network in the state, comprised of 33,000 team members and more than 6,500 physicians. And whereas Hackensack University Medical Center was listed as the #1 hospital in New Jersey in U.S. News and World Report 2017 through 18, best hospital ranking, and named one of the top 4 New York metro area hospitals. And whereas the hospital has created an empire campus of award-winning care and is the hometown hospital of the New York Giants and the New York Red Bulls, and provider to the Northern Trust PGA Golf Tournament. And whereas Hackensack Hospital remains committed to its community through fundraising and community events, especially the Tackle Kids Cancer campaign, providing research at the Children's Cancer Institute housed at the Joseph M. Sanzari Children's Hospital. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the members of the Hackensack City Council, acknowledge and thank Hackensack Meridian Health, Hackensack University Medical Center for their $5,000 donation to the city's 4th of July celebration and their ongoing commitment to the well-being and future of our great city. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow morning. Yeah, they're okay. All right. There's no minutes to approve?
No.
No minutes to approve. Go to the city manager's report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and invited guests. This is the City Manager's Report for June 25th, 2019. First, the city is gearing up for its annual 4th of July event. Flyers are available in City Hall and information is available on our website. Featured performance will be the Infernos. Thank you again for Toyota of Hackensack for once again sponsoring the fireworks display by Garucci, and to Sanzari and the generous contributions made by all of our contributors for this event. You can gain information from the hackensack.org information from the website. Our summer concert series will be starting on July 16th with a new Powerful Soul. Flyers are available at City Hall and additional information is on hackensack.org. Hackensack's next Food Truck Friday will be this Friday, June 28th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the Courthouse Green. Come join us for food, fun, and music. Building Department update: 120 notices written, 172 inspections made, 15 summonses issued, 15 CCOs were done, 33 OPA requests were fulfilled. Hackensack Recreation has extended their registration for this year's summer camp program. Late night hours are tonight, Tuesday night, and tomorrow, Wednesday night, until 8 p.m. in City Hall on the 3rd floor. HackPack is hosting a sunset yoga at Atlantic Street Park starting July 8th. HackPack is also hosting Sounds of Summer concert series every Friday night at 7 p.m. starting July 12th. Please refer to hackpack.org for listings of summer events. Hackensack Police Department is hosting a free car seat safety check this Saturday, June 29th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the police parking lot. Our community gardens is now open. The city will be hosting a ribbon cutting ceremony on Thursday, June 27th at 12 noon. All are welcome. And that would complete the city manager's report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to new business. Resolution 285-19.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 28-2019, a bond ordinance providing for the installation of streetscape improvements along Main Street by and in the city of Hackensack in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, appropriating $6,600,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $6,600,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anybody who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Need a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 28-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 286-19.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 29-2019, an ordinance to clarify the rate of compensation to be paid to off-duty law enforcement officers when required during excavation projects. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one opposed? Anybody who'd like to speak on this ordinance, please come forward.
Charlie Avalon, 281 Clinton Place.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the past few months, there's been a lot of work going on around town.
Right.
It would be very convenient is that signs were put up.
Can't hear you.
It would be very convenient if not having signs put up before you get stuck at the construction sites. Every construction site that has at what's going on right there. Half mile down the road, traffic could be diverted, going a different direction. I've been caught 4 times in all this, so it'd be convenient if people get a heads up on the streets that would be closed.
All right. I appreciate the idea, but also you might want to, if you sign up for our Nixle alerts,
Well, you
that
know,
gives everybody a heads up on all the
not
traffic
everybody
going
was-
on.
There's still people that like the old-fashioned way,
And
okay?
we'll
Signs
definitely
ahead,
take the signs into
construction ahead, please
consideration.
make a detour,
Mhm.
okay? Doesn't spend that much cost. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the ordinance on, or anybody else from the public on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 29-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 287-19.
This is a final adoption for ordinance number 30-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Vehicles and Traffic, to add new handicap parking spaces in Section 49.2, Parking for the Handicapped. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Thank you. Need a motion to open to the public, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anyone from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 30-2019 has passed the second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 288-19.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 31-2019, an ordinance amending Chapter 90 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Food and Drink, to include electronic smoking devices. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Thank you. Anybody from the public would like to speak on, I'm sorry. Need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on ordinance, or resolution number 288-19, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Need a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey, that ordinance number 31-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 289-19.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 32-2019, an ordinance amending Chapter 32 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Police Department to increase the number of authorized police lieutenants from 7 to 10. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Thank you. Motion to open to the public.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anyone from the public who'd like to speak on Resolution 289-19, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Need a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Aye.
Leo.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 32-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 290-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 33-2019, a bond ordinance amending and supplementing bond ordinance number 33-2018, heretofore finally adopted July 23, 2018, entitled Bond Ordinance Providing for Parking Garage and Lot Improvements by and in the City of Hackensack in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,300,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,300,000 in bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof, to increase the appropriation therein by $2 million, and to increase the authorization of bonds or notes therein by $2 million to finance the additional cost thereof.
Need a motion to introduce, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 33-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on July 22, 2019, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 291-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 34-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to formally establish handicap parking spaces in Section 49.2, parking for the handicapped within Fashini Park.
Need a motion to introduce the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 34-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on July 22, 2019, at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 292-19.
This is a resolution authorizing the settlement of litigation entitled Ronald Jackson versus the City of Hackensack, claim petition 2016-29408, pending in the New Jersey Division of Workers' Compensation.
I need a motion, please.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. None opposed? Resolution 293-19.
This is a resolution authorizing tax refunds for duplicate payments and state board judgments.
Need a motion, please.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 294-19.
A resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation, NJSA 40A:4-87, 2019 Clean Communities Grant.
Need a motion, please.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 295-19.
A resolution authorizing change order number 1 to Brinks Tank and Environmental Services for former Pistol Range soil remediation in Johnson Park.
Need a motion?
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Okay. Resolution 296-19.
It's a resolution authorizing payment of bills.
Need a motion to pay the bills?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Sims, I believe you might have a conflict on this. Which one was it?
Park permit deposit refund.
Resolution 300-19.
Yeah. So we're going to pull that one, read it separately,
Yeah, you were off
right?
for recreation refund.
So you just can't vote on that one, Dave. You abstain on that one? Yeah.
Let's vote on it separately and
We'll
abstain.
pull it out.
So read the consent agenda minus that resolution, please.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else? That's the only one.
I don't see anything else.
Following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. The first one on the consent agenda is Resolution 297-19, is a resolution authorizing renewal of liquor licenses for the 2019-2020 license term. Resolution 298-19 is a resolution authorizing renewal of Yoshida Enterprises liquor license for the 2017-2019 license term. 299-19 is a resolution authorizing building department refund in the amount of $831.20 for the return of the permit fee. And then Resolution 301-19 is a resolution authorizing award of contract for engineering services, Second Ward, Powellfly Park, engineering design for stormwater runoff to Suburban Engineering. Resolution 302-19 is a resolution authorizing a bingo license for St. Francis of Assisi Church. All right, we need a motion for those.
Need a motion to accept the consent agenda as it was read.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, could you please read Resolution 300-19?
Resolution 300-19 is a resolution authorizing recreation refund for park permit deposits.
Okay, need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor, or the roll call, please?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Abstain.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Okay.
And Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay. Before I open to the public, I'm going to read a statement. So obviously, many people are here tonight to discuss the remarks made by Board of Education trustee Francis Kajelja. I want to state very clearly, on behalf of myself and the entire City Council, that we do not condone what Mrs. Kajelja has said in her emails. The City of Hackensack is a diverse city, and that diversity makes us stronger every day. We're proud of all the different communities that contribute to our city, and we were proud to raise the pride flag this month to honor residents from the LGBTQ community. I want everyone to understand that we were saddened by the statements Mrs. Kajelja made, and that we were disappointed by her comments. We immediately reached out to her and encouraged her to publicly apologize for what she said, and she did apologize at last week's Board of Education meeting and pledged to consider the impact of her words more carefully in the future. We believe that Mrs. Kajelja has learned from the situation about the need for everyone to be respectful of each other, and while we understand that some people may disagree, we personally accept her apology. Shortly after these emails came to light, I also called Ira Goodman, who is a new Board of Education member this year. He was just elected in April, and he's a member of the LGBTQ community. I wanted Ira to know that we stood with him and supported him. The fact that Ira has forgiven Mrs. Kajelja himself speaks volumes to me, and I think his willingness to move forward together says a lot about his character and his desire to see our schools improved. It's unfortunate that we are in this position at a time when so many exciting things are happening in our schools. With new leadership on Board of Education, new superintendent was announced last night, and we now finally have a chance to work collaboratively with the district to expand school facilities in a responsible way that protects our taxpayers without interference. I hope now that Mrs. Kajelja has apologized, we can put this ugly incident behind us and move forward in a way that benefits our students and all the people, not just of Hackensack, but all the people in this country. So with that, I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I'm going to open to the public. I ask that you come up, give your name and address to the clerk, and you will have 3 minutes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Patrice
Good evening.
Forsman, Executive Director, Main Street Business Alliance. On behalf of the trustees of the Main Street Business Alliance, we unanimously would like to request that the City Council reopen the issue and make every effort to find a suitable location for a new YMCA in Hackensack. It is with sincere regret that members of our board did not attend and support the YMCA at the City Council meeting last month. We understand that the YMCA was proposing to be relocated to a portion of Johnson Park, and that this was met with less than a positive reaction from some members of the community and the council. We believe that a new YMCA is of vital importance to the city and the success of the downtown. We understand that the current property has reached the end of its useful life, and the Y is looking for a new home, and that new home could end up being outside of Hackensack in a neighboring town. The thought of our community losing the Y would have a devastating effect on the citizens of Hackensack, both existing and the new residents to come, who will be attracted to our newly developing downtown. Currently operating is a 91-year-old building that is beyond its service life. It puts severe limitations on the Y and does not enable them to offer all of the wide array of programs that a modern Y does. The YMCA provides what service to the community, value service to the community, which cannot be offered at affordable levels by private for-profit businesses. The Y offers a litany of programs for developing young children, including summer camps, which benefit our community. Many of their programs come with grant support for families who need assistance. No one is ever turned away who wants to use the Y. Although we agree that open space is vital, please consider our parks are scarcely used during the 4 colder months. However, a new Y will have a 12-month facility no matter the weather. I ask each of you to take the time to drive to Wyckoff and look at that modern Y that was built on municipal land adjacent to their soccer and baseball fields. The City Council had a vision for success which is played out every day in Wyckoff as you watch the steady flow of cars in and out of that facility. The Wyckoff Y is an integral part of not just Wyckoff, but also the surrounding communities whose patrons then shop and spend dollars in Wyckoff. Research has shown wide community support for expanded operations throughout our state. For all these reasons, the Board of Trustees of the Main Street Business Alliance respectfully requests that the city leadership make every effort to help the Y find a suitable location before we regret the possibility of life without a Y in Hackensack after 101 years. They are self-funded and are not asking for money for construction, only a location that will enable them to provide a brand new facility, expanded service, and the programs which will not only benefit our community and further enhance our city. The Main
Okay,
Street
Patrice,
Business Alliance is in
you're
full
over your
support.
time,
I'm
Patrice.
sorry.
Thank you. I don't know if you heard it or not.
Sorry, thank you.
Yes. Sure. No, you can't allocate, but you can read it.
Yeah, it's okay. Sorry about that. I was so busy reading it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Just the last sentence.
Never mind. Read the last sentence. Go ahead. Go
Jason
ahead.
Stone, 151
Just,
Prospect
I know we have a lot of speakers, so I'm trying to keep the limit
Main
going.
Street Business Alliance is in full support of this great opportunity for Hackensack.
Thank you, Patrice. Appreciate it. Next up.
Jason Stone, 151 Prospect Avenue. I'm here to talk more on the personal level of what the Y has meant to me growing up here in Hackensack. My family goes back 4 generations. Since I was a little kid, I went to all the camps that the Y had to offer. In middle school, I went to their after-school program. It's amazing to me that you have such a great organization that's 2 blocks away from our middle school, that parents can take advantage of having an after-school program, a place for kids to go where they're not getting in trouble. Very similar to the sports programs that the city offers. I know that as of now, there was plans or thoughts of plans for a sports dome in Johnson Park, and I understand how important recreation is to this community. But the Y offers so much more than that, that I would hope that you guys would take a look at the proposal that was given last week and consider the Y going into Johnson Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Reverend Carolyn Davis, Hackensack, New Jersey. First of all, Ted, I'd like to thank you. I brought up an issue about our streets last week, and you sent somebody immediately to look into that, and they explained to me that situation. I just want to read something tonight. This is dated September 21st, 2018. As elected officials representing the city of Hackensack, we reject and repudiate the completely unacceptable and bigoted remarks made by Sheriff Michael Sardino, and hereby demand that he resign his office immediately. We believe that the sheriff can no longer effectively represent the people of our diverse city and county, and that many residents have justifiably lost confidence in his ability to manage the sheriff's office and the Bergen County Jail in a professional and unbiased manner. The only way to restore public confidence in the county's public safety operations is for the sheriff to step down, and we call on him to do so today. My question, Mayor, is how come, I think it's very hypocritical, that now Ms. Kajelja has made similar statements, and you are now asking us to forgive her. He did one thing just a year ago and another thing now. It's very hypocritical. So if you asked him to resign because of the same statements, you should be asking her to resign. The other thing I want to say is forgiveness. Yes, we can forgive. That's the easy part. The part is the person that you're asking to forgive, can they change their ways? I don't believe Ms. Kajelja can change her ways because she allowed herself to be who she really is. And when you see a red flag, take notice of the red flag. Many times we say we don't know who this person is or what's going on. When you see the red flag, because the faith that I have also tells me to watch and pray. When God exposes something that's dangerous, we need to do something about it.
That's right.
Thank you.
Hence the expression, tough act to follow. Richard Salk in Hackensack, New Jersey. Mr. LaBrosse, the fact that you had to ask her to apologize, encourage her to apologize, doesn't that tell you something? Doesn't that tell you something? You know, I know you got an interest in her. I have exhibits A through F here. You know, that you funded the campaign, the Citizens for Change, big time, $12,000, $13,000. You know, the infamous, and you and I are going to talk about this down the road, as you well know, the letter from the mayor endorsing that ticket. But all five of you are the LaBrosse team. And the LaBrosse team is responsible for her. The LaBrosse team has ownership of her. Why would you encourage her? I got to tell you what I said maybe at the meeting the other night. Think about what you're doing. Why do you want to put yourself or your family through what's going to happen? You're not going to walk away from these comments. This is about responsibility and ownership. You know, I'm not on your side of the aisle, very clearly. We speculate. Who's making the decisions? Who's counseling you? I think Emil, I'd like to think it's Emil, wise man, been around a long time, and Kathy, and I guess the Swabinskis. Why are you tying this albatross around your neck? And the community has spoken very, very clearly on this. And you have political power. You have political power. Everybody knows you have political power. You have to use it responsibly. You have to vet people better. You don't rally around her because you elected her. Your side is gonna choose the successor if she resigns. There's no problems with maintaining control over the Board of Education, but this person does not deserve your continued support. I'd like to, if you may, I'd like to ask each of you where you stand on this. Start with you, Mason. You have young children in the district.
No, we're not gonna poll the
You don't
council.
want to do that. So I can't.
The council has
other-
issued a statement, Mr. Solkin.
Well, I don't, does that speak for everybody? Yeah, okay. I guess the people now know where the
Thank you.
LaBrosse team stands. Sad, very sad. Thank you.
Next, please.
I would like to quickly say that, as previously stated, well, my name is Briana George. I'm a student here in Hackensack. I'd also like to say that, as previously mentioned, you guys do have the political power to make a change. And in terms of the person who accepted her apology, one person from the LGBT community does not represent us as a community. And to say that, and bring that up just seems like an excuse to be complicit in blatant homophobia. So that's something I have an issue with. So as stated, my name is Briana George. I'm currently a high school student at Bergen Arts and Science Charter School that resides only 5 minutes away from here. And I've grown up as a queer student in the New Jersey public education system my entire life, so this matter is extremely important to me. Also be due to personal experience. Toward the end of this school year, a friend and I had the idea to paint murals in my school. We wanted to fill the walls with colors and vibrancy so that when people walked in, they knew that the students housed there were talented and hardworking. My art teacher was ecstatic, and with permission from my school's administration, we were tasked with painting murals that paid homage to historical artistic figures. I happened to choose Keith Haring. He is an artist, an activist, and he also happens to be gay. I painted a mural that included a rainbow heart to pay homage to him, and the church across the street from my school took issue with it, calling a mural painted by a minor sexual, obscene, and offensive. My school mishandled the situation completely, and the next day, when I found out that my mural was a problem, it was painted over. It was erased, and that's how I felt in that moment. Erased. Not safe in an environment where I am supposed to be safe and where I'm supposed to be included regardless of my race, creed, sexuality, whatever falls under the umbrella of intersectionality, I am supposed to feel safe as a student. This is why Kajolja's comments about LGBT inclusive curriculum are unacceptable. Her rhetoric contributes to an extremely toxic culture of homophobia that exists in too many facets of our society, and laws like the New Jersey curriculum law work to combat that. It's a shame that the cries and voices of Stonewall aren't echoed within the pages of a textbook. It's a shame that books like James Baldwin's Giovanni's Room, which tackle the intersections of race and sexuality, are not taught in my English classes. It's a shame that my administrators, who are adults, mind you, didn't even know who Keith Haring was and why this mural was so important. This curriculum law is important. It's completely necessary, and anyone who would even question the rights of American students to learn a history that lies in the very fabric of this country does not deserve to have any say in the education that we have as students.
Good evening. My name is Chris Canella. I reside in Lodi, New Jersey. I'm an educator. I just finished my 20th year in Cedar Grove in Essex County. Part of my duties also is I am the GSA advisor over there. Some of the other things I do, I am part of a group of educators that are helping to put together this curriculum statewide. Very dedicated educators. I am also gay. Okay, I'd like to read a message that a student sent to me a couple years ago, who graduated about 16 years ago. Okay, she says, so I'm not sure that you're aware, but you coming out was kind of a big deal in high school. When my friends, who were closeted at the time, found out, it gave them a great deal of confidence and made them feel much more at home in school with an openly gay teacher. I don't know if anyone ever told you that or not, but you made a big difference in the lives of those people at that time, by them simply learning that they weren't alone. Kudos to you for embracing your true self. Students don't see themselves. LGBTQ students don't see themselves in schools. I know, I ask them, I work with them. When I ask my students, How many of your teachers talk about LGBTQ issues? They said, Mr. Cannella, you're the only one. Okay? This is important to protecting those kids. And when a leader of a school system, a person who makes policy for that school system, uses the term repugnant, and I looked it up because I'm like, it can't be that bad, right? But here's what repugnant means, okay? And this is why this woman should not be sitting on that board, and you should be asking her to step down, okay? Adherent, revolting, repulsive, repellent, disgusting, offensive, objectionable, vile. I am not vile. That young lady is not vile. The vile person is a board member who's going to call a law that is going to make our students more safe repugnant. That woman should step down. You should all be asking for her resignation. And anybody who oversees students, who has any kind of power, should be on the side of that young lady. Right. All the students like her, and all she educated is there to protect her. So, I'm a history teacher. History teaches us that those who choose to be silent, and by the way, I appreciate you addressing the situation, and it's great she apologizes, okay? But those were her personal emails, okay? So in a personal email, if that's what she's going to say, imagine with the stuff that we can't get to, what's in her head, what's in her heart, and what is at home. So please reconsider, do the right thing for those students, and ask her to step down. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
My name is Roger Turner, Hackensack, New Jersey. I am a product of Hackensack Public School Systems. I am a proud black gay man that came through this system. And I sat here and listened to this council lie. You accepted an unnecessary apology. Why would you ask her to apologize for a thing that we needed to know? Her statements, apologizing for her being honest about who she was, there should be no apology for. We should be thankful for them. And you lied and said that you don't condone her remarks. Well, you do condone it because you're allowing her to stay on this board. Everyone's focusing on the word repugnant. I'm focusing on her referring to members of the LGBT community as alternative lifestyles. That's not, we are an identity, an existence. She does not want us to exist in public school systems. And believe it or not, gay children, lesbian children, trans children, queer children exist in Hackensack public school systems. The message you are delivering to them is that they don't matter and that you are condoning a known homophobic person to reside over their education. It is unacceptable. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Good evening. My name is Eric Martindale. I live in Maywood. I have deep roots in Hackensack. I do not support the state policy or the bullying going on to force public policy. I'm the bad guy here tonight. You can all boo me. Okay? We are not going to be told that if someone is against the state policy on this issue, it must be because we hate people. That is not true. I say to the LGBT community, Jesus loves you.
Excuse me, stop the
Jesus
clock.
loves everyone.
Not one person, while everybody is speaking, has spoken out until someone came up with a different opinion. Now, Mr. DePasqua, if he's not, you're not speaking back there? I'm looking at you, I see you talking. Okay, then I apologize. Somebody from the line is speaking back there, all right? This isn't a laughing matter. I'm glad you think it's funny. Whoever's talking, please let this gentleman speak. Everybody has had a chance to speak without anybody interrupting them. All right? It's a reflection on whoever's doing it.
But he's infringing on our existence.
He's infringing on your existence for having an opinion? I beg to differ with that. Continue the clock, please.
Many folks supported same-sex marriage on the premise that they aren't bothering anyone, let them do their thing. Now, they are fully in charge of public policy in New Jersey, and they aren't letting parents do their own thing. They want the worldview of Christianity kept out of public schools, but now their worldview and politics can be taught in public schools. That's the overall context of the issue, and that's the objection. The objection is not hate. Freedom of religion has to be broadened and redefined as freedom of worldview, so that the politically correct worldview cannot be taught in public schools either. Get me a lawyer and a conservative group to fund me, and I will take this as plaintiff all the way to the United States Supreme Court. And I will shut this down nationally, from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. Now they are bullying elected officials into making political statements on Ms. Kojelja, and the more statements they get, the more other elected Democrats are pressured. I was once the subject of a witch hunt, and I had to clear my name with a Superior Court judge. This is worse than a witch hunt. This is a progressive jihad. The message is clear to elected Democrats. Either you are with Garden State Equality, or you are offending them with your silence. And they can control who the next Democratic Party nominees will be for any election, so you better toe the line or you're off the ballot next time around. Funny, isn't it? 90 years ago, the Democratic Party was under that kind of control from another very hostile organization. Garden State Equality used tactics of fear, power, and conformity to get that bill passed in Trenton and 200 other bills over the course of 2017 and 2018. As conservatives, we are the mature and responsible adults in the room. We must speak calmly and firmly and express dignity toward all. I've said nothing harsh. I've used no foul language. I express my opinion. The politically correct value system is flawed in that it does not encourage forgiveness or to love your enemy.
Mr. Martindale, your time is up.
Cheek
Thank
when
you.
harmed.
Thank you, Mr. Martindale.
Thank you.
Next, please.
Jesus loves you.
I'm recovering from wisdom teeth surgery, so bear with me, sorry. Cassine Gaines, Hackensack High School teacher, Hackensack resident. This month marks the 45-year anniversary of a significant event in LGBT history. It was on June 28, 1974, that the very first Gay Pride Day was formally recognized by a municipality in the entirety of the United States, and that was right here in Hackensack, New Jersey. Marked with a parade that went around our courthouse and a proclamation signed by Mayor Michael Darminio. And when he was asked by the New York Times why he took this historic leap, he said, because people asked him to. This is what New Jersey's new LGBT curriculum will teach our students, that history and change can be made by ordinary people who stand up to affirm that everyone has value. And these are the same lessons that my generation learned in school about Martin Luther King and Sojourner Truth, Anne Frank and Elie Wiesel, Amelia Earhart and Susan B. Anthony. And 45 years after this historic moment, not only in Hackensack, but in the United States, how are we marking it in our city? No pride event. Last month, a charter school student, this student right here, had her mural repainted that just depicted two hands holding a rainbow-colored heart that was deemed obscene. And now one of our Board of Ed trustees has referred to a law designed to make all students feel welcome and included in our history as nonsense. And one email she wrote, "I find it repugnant that someone's sexual preferences have anything to do with their contributions or achievement in society. And I would argue that Harvey Milk's gayness has just as much to do with his achievements in society as Rosa Parks' blackness does." Trustee Kojelja's comments aren't just offensive. In her apology, she explained that she had a knee-jerk reaction to a topic she didn't know anything about. But instead of using her special access to the superintendent to learn about the law, she called it disgusting, disturbing, shocking, a waste of valuable instruction time, appalling, and an example of an alternative lifestyle being shoved down our children's throats, and followed it up with a request to withdraw her child from these lessons. She had already made up her mind that there was nothing her child could gain by learning about the accomplishments of people that are different from her. Instead of seeking an education and understanding, she expressed anger and sought to put gays and lesbians back in the closet because she was repulsed by them. She is someone entrusted with the education not only of her child, but with all children, including many who are LGBTQ, and that is deeply disturbing and troubling. When you are an elected official, you are held to a higher standard of conduct, both in the eyes of the public and more importantly by state laws and local policies. And I reject the idea that we need to accept her apology when she sought to erase a group of people based on their sexual orientation. I do not owe someone the benefit of the doubt who calls me the N-word any more than she is owed the benefit of the doubt. I promise 30 seconds, I'm dealing with, I promise. Before my time runs out, it's important to mention one last thing about Hackensack's historic Pride Parade. It came about because John Gish Jr., a gay teacher in Paramus, was suspended after his Board of Education learned that he was part of the Gay Teachers Caucus of the National Education Association. Those trustees used their deeply held beliefs and their power to erase him from the children's learning experience. Martin Luther King says, "In the end, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. It is not enough to ask for her apology. You must ask for her resignation." Thank you.
My name is Patricia Henry. I live on Spring Valley Avenue here in Hackensack. First, I want to read her words because I want everyone here to hear what she said. Dear Ms. Marks, I read in the record that our governor has passed a law requiring all public schools to teach about LGBTQ history starting in 2021 school year. I find this incredibly disturbing and frankly shocking. I would like to know what my options are as a parent, as I do not agree with this topic being taught. I find it repugnant that sexual preferences have anything to do with their contributions or achievements in society. We have a large percentage of kids who cannot read or do math at their grade level, and our governor thinks that we shouldn't be wasting valuable instruction time on this nonsense. I am disgusted and appalled. I fear where we are headed as a nation. What does that tell you? Everywhere I turn, this alternate lifestyle narrative is being shoved down our children's throats. Where does this end? I don't even have to keep on going, but just those words alone will tell you. Those are her words. That's what's in her head. That is her personal opinion. And no one on the Board of Education should be allowed to make decisions for LGBTQ children who know that she hates them, that she finds them repugnant and disgusting. But you want to know what I find repugnant and disgusting? You can all look at me in my face. I find it repugnant and disgusting that up to this point, not one of you has said a single word about her. Your candidate, not one word. You know in your heart that woman has hate in her heart, and she needs to resign. And your silence speaks volumes about where your hearts are. Yeah. You need to do the right thing. That woman should not be making any decisions for our children. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Really. Truly.
Hello, my name is Rob Lee Davis, Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in Hackensack, New Jersey. My mother grew up in Hackensack, New Jersey. My grandmother grew up in Hackensack, New Jersey. My history in Hackensack goes back to the 1940s. I don't know any of you, but I find you all to be disgusting people. The notion that you would stand in support of a person who would make these vile statements, you, as a black man, that you would have no problem with that at all, is insane. If Dave Sims had written an email and said that he was sick of all the Jews in Hackensack running things, you would have gotten him out of here so fast it wouldn't be funny. If one of these men had written an email saying they're sick of hearing about women's history being shoved down their throat, you'd want them removed immediately. If someone says something about Muslims, you want them removed. But somehow you're okay with this. And if I'm not mistaken, Franca George said the mistake that she made was that she used the wrong email. So that speaks to where her heart actually is. The problem wasn't with what she said. The problem was that she used the wrong email. And so you're okay with that. I grew up in this school system. I believe I went to school with your son, sir, so you should also be ashamed of yourselves, Mr. Battaglia. There are people who I know, there are kids who I know who have killed themselves, there are adults who have killed themselves. It is the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, and you are standing in support of this woman who is going to be in charge of children's education and is telling them that they're repugnant human beings. You are all repugnant human beings. Yes. How dare you stand behind this person and not speak up for what is right and correct and what should be done to make students feel strong and empowered and engaged. And the notion that you can sit here, and I'm sorry, this, you spoke to the gay guy on the team, and he says, okay, I'm the gay guy. It's not okay. I don't know where you think that from. This is the last thing I want to say. We live in a social media age. Oh, and by the way, God loves me. So don't worry about it. By the way, we live in the social media age. Everything lasts. Everything. I don't know if any of you know who Hazel Masry is, but she was the white woman who's standing in the back of the picture of Elizabeth Eckford, the Little Rock Nine, screaming at them with hatred in her face. That picture was from the 50s. It's still here today. So we live nowadays. I'm old enough to remember when I was a kid, Hackensack was famous for Billy Joel's song, Moving Out. Hackensack will now be famous in the week of the Stonewall riots for Leonardo Battaglia, David Sims, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Kathleen Canestrino, and Stephanie von Rudenberg having no problem supporting someone who says she hates gay people. That will follow you for the rest of your life.
That's right.
Follow that. I'm Regina DePasqua, Hackensack.
That's not me reading.
It was nice you gave all those proclamations to people who have donated and given you money. You even did a proclamation for DPW recently. You have never, to my knowledge, done a pride proclamation. Never. And this is 50 years of Stonewall. Didn't cross your mind to do it, even with everything that's going on. Still didn't cross your mind to do it. And I don't know where you're talking about a flag was raised. It was raised at the county. I'm not aware of one in the city.
On District 4.
There's one in the city. I haven't seen it. There was no fanfare about raising a flag in the city of Hackensack. But you know what there was fanfare about? When you guys switched parties because of Trump. Okay, you guys on TV, news, John and Kathy, you switched parties because of Trump's hate. Then, with Sodino, which Carolyn, you stole my thunder there, but you were quick to issue a statement about Sodino resigning, and you called for his resignation. And the fact that lost confidence in his ability to manage the sheriff's office and the Bergen County Jail. Apparently, you care more about the jail than the LGBTQ students in our schools. You still have confidence in this woman that she can do her job there. And as far as an apology, you guys have been crickets up until this point, but you knew we were coming. So her apology was not an apology. It was excuses. It was excuses. She believes she has a right to say those things. She said that. It's my First Amendment right. She hasn't changed. She believes that. And she believes because of her religion she could do it. My religion, Pope Francis. As far as homosexuals, as he termed it, LGBTQ, who am I to judge? Right. Branca Georgia, I'm appalled and disgusted. And I am appalled and disgusted that you jumped on the Sodino train which did not have anything to do with the youth in our city, day in and day out, but you are silent until tonight. And you accept her apology. It's as bad as David making an apology for the police, apologizing for the police when they did their job and gave a ticket to somebody. It's the same thing. You are not in a position to accept that apology. It's not for you to say. You should have said something 10 days ago. You should have spoken up right away, but you did not. You should have been the first to issue a statement. But we know you're responsible for Fran to being there. You have invested time, money. Maybe you even agree with her. We don't know, but we can make that assumption. So you have invested in Fran. Your pride, swallow it.
Next, please.
Hello, my name is Charlie Avalone, 281 Clinton Place. Mine's gonna be a little bit more sublime. Just want to go through some historic stuff. Since this email had come out, we have had county executive, the state senator Weinberg, Assemblyman Huddle and Johnson, Senators Menendez, Booker, finally Gottheimer, Representative Gottheimer has come out and said something. You guys are less than 3 miles from the Board of Education building, and it took you till tonight. So it's disingenuous, your comments tonight. You knew that, and yes, people have already said it. You were one asked her to get on the Board of Education in the first place. And yet you, Don, I would appreciate if you could look at me when I'm talking.
I'm writing down as you're talking.
You take the minutes now? Okay, I apologize.
I'm writing some comments now.
So I'm just saying, your statement earlier for the city council, to me, was disingenuous. It was that just because we were coming tonight, that's up to you to decide why that was made. But everybody else, whether it was political saying it or something, you are in the same town. You know her, most likely, very close more than I do. And yet, you waited till tonight to say something, and I have heard earlier that you weren't even going to say anything prior to this evening when you were asked about it earlier. So,
Not true.
I consider your statement you made, very, like I said, disingenuous, and you need to do more to support the town and its people of all kinds, not just the people you want voted into the Board of Education.
Yes, that's
As of right now, as you know of, you got 5 people on the Board of Ed that you helped put there. Keep this up, and you'll be by yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Okay, good evening, Kathleen Salvo, Hackensack. I'm really disappointed with the city council. I mean, you've done some, I don't want to say stupid things, but you've done some bad things, but this is really, really bad. Stephanie, you have children that go to the school. You should be very concerned. And I don't know who of you have gone to Hackensack High School. I know David hasn't graduated. I don't think any the rest of you have. But Hackensack High School is very special. The school system is very special. We've always been the leaders in diversity. We've grown to love everybody that goes to school, to know them and to appreciate them. And I wish you would get out and do more than just canistry, than to go to pilot meetings and worry about redevelopment and building apartment houses. You should go to the Y building. That Y presentation was going to be good for all children. Because it didn't come from you and because it's not something that David and Leo wanted, it would be good for all children. You should have been there in the auditorium at Hackensack High School. I was crying to hear the testimony by some of those kids. It was so moving. But all you're doing is thinking about your candidate, supporting her, forgetting about the school, and you want to get all that money you can from the school system. You don't want them to spend any money. You wanted the pilot money. The schools are falling apart. They get less than any other town does as far as the money goes. That's why you want control of the Board of Ed. Leave the Board of Ed alone. It was wonderful to have gone to a Board of Ed meeting because we couldn't go in the past because you had the same night. You had your board meeting and you had your council meeting. But they let us speak more than 3 minutes. They made us talk what we wanted to speak, and everybody got it out. And like I said, it was so moving. You should have been at those meetings. You should be aware of what's going on in Hackensack rather than just the redevelopment. And know that there's people. Yes, she apologized. I accept her apologize. But do I want her to make the decision for our children? No. This woman needs to resign, and you should be the first to say it. Just like you jumped on the sheriff and with Trump and everybody else. She's not good for Hackensack. She's not a Hackensack person. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Gregory Quinlan. I'm president and founder of a Christian family advocacy organization here in New Jersey called the Center for Garden State Families. And I'm also an ex-gay, former homosexual. And as you'll notice from the heckling in the back, those who demand tolerance the most possess it the least. I'm not the only ex-gay. You know, this isn't Winnie the Pooh and I'm not Tigger. I'm not the only one. There are thousands of people who've left the homosexual lifestyle. They've chosen to do it. They've sought what help ever they thought they needed to get it, and they've left homosexuality. I'm a retired nurse. I joined the Human Rights Campaign Fund back in the late 80s. I was the founder of the Dayton Committee of the Human Rights Campaign Fund, as it was called then. They've now dropped the name fund, but it is a political action committee. And the reason why I got into it was that I watched hundreds of my friends and acquaintances die of AIDS before I quit counting. I got into it because I knew that this organization, that organization, the Human Rights Campaign, was the one to get the money, the research for AIDS, because that's what we needed. We needed to have that. So I was involved in that, and then as I was doing that, I embraced the entire, and not every homosexual, even now, embraces everything that is the LGBTQI-XYZ movement. I do want to say this. Since I've been to New Jersey, and I've lived here now for 12 years, what I have noticed is that even though we passed a bullying bill, bullying in New Jersey is very legal. Certain groups get a pass when they disagree with the free speech of another individual or group. The group at the top of the list is this exempted list of those permitted to bully and harass is the LGBT rights group in the state, the Center for Garden State Equality. There are no replicated scientific studies supporting any specific biologic etiology for homosexuality. None. That quote is from the American Psychiatric Association, the MDs. Homosexuality is a developmental gender identity disorder that has no biologic cause. It is nurture, not nature. A developmental gender identity disorder that has no gay gene. Dr. Francis Collins, head of the Human Genome Project, a Democrat, appointed by Democrat Bill Clinton to map the human genome, world-renowned geneticist, 13-year project, multiple millions of dollars, multiple scientists. And his book, at the end of the project, said this, quote, homosexuality is not hardwired, end quote. Yes, it is. This is science, not emotion, not what you want it to be, but what it is. And those are the statements that need to be made. Our children need to hear real history, not politicized history.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up. Thank you.
Don't listen to him. Don't even worry about it, honey. He can't hurt you. He can't hurt you.
Hello, sir.
I'm Richard Serbo, 46 Spring Valley Avenue, Hackensack. You know, I just, I reach out to everyone to find peace in this. I mean, I know feelings were hurt on one side, but I thank you for trying to assuage the situation, Mr. Mayor. And that's the end of what I have to say about the whole thing. I mean, let's forget this and move on, okay? Thank you very much. And look, a couple of things I want to bring up is, you know, I used to walk from one end of Main Street to the other when I worked downtown. I did lots of things downtown, the library. I used Main Street. So I walked from one end to the other for many years, okay? And I haven't in the last year because of my situation. But the other day I walked from one end to the other, from Sears to the courthouse, and I tell you, it is awful. It is a mess. Businesses are moving out. I'm wondering, is that part of the gentrification, or are they just hightailing it out of here because it's so awful. It really is awful on Main Street, Mr. Mayor. Please, I know there's a development going on, and I know it takes time for things to develop and get done, but it is just horrendous down there. And I'm wondering, maybe you could speed up this development of Main Street, or possibly something, because wow, it is just awful being down there. Okay, and I wanted to ask Ted about Spring Valley Avenue again. I was going to call traffic. I didn't get the time. I did speak with the officers at the front desk, and they asked me to call traffic. I didn't get a chance to, but it's not only the traffic on Spring Valley Avenue, but the speed. They are going so damn fast. I mean, buses are going by at 50 miles an hour. It is outrageous. Please do something about it. And
Got that, Ted?
it's
Thank you.
it's just awful. And that's all I have. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Serbo. Next, please.
John, I'm back.
Hello, Jason.
I'm back. I wasn't going to speak tonight. I have nothing prepared, so I typed something down because I wasn't going to speak until that horrific gentleman 2 speakers ago just spoke. And I used the word horrific because nobody should have those kind of thoughts in this country. There's a teenage girl outside crying in your city hall chambers right now, John, because of the comments you are supporting. And you don't know you're supporting it, but your failure to speak out as the elected leader of this city and not unequivocally saying Ms. Cagello should have no place in this city, her child should be the first one in that classroom when they teach this class. This is what that curriculum is designed for. And I wrote a few things down because I grew up here, as you all know, and as a white student, I learned from African History Month, African American History Month. As a man, I learned about the women's suffrage movement. It made me a better person. As a Catholic, I learned about the Holocaust. And as some of my friends could tell you, a pretty adamant heterosexual, I learned about the other communities, the other segments, the people that I don't have the same experiences. This is what this city is all about. This is what the Board of Education was about when I was there. We passed wide-sweeping policies to make sure that children felt safe in the learning environment. And to be honest, well, not all of you, some of you, I thought better than today when I walked into this chamber. I've known you for a long time, John. I've never once said anything personally bad about you. Because I believe in your heart you're a good person. But your failure to say right now that Ms. Cagello is actually an effective leader and actually deserves to stay on this Board of Education is disheartening and disappointing. And Ms. Von Rudenberg, Deputy Mayor Canestrino, Mayor Sims, your failure to do that shows me that you're not the people I thought you were either. If I said it, if Joanna said what she said, Danny, Mr. Hoffman, God forbid if Mr. Salk wrote that kind of email, there would have been a line when I was president of the Board of Education, down 2nd Street to Passaic Street, and all the way back up Passaic Street, demanding our resignations. And you would have led the charge, John, and the way I knew that is you have come to the Board of Education meetings to criticize Board of Education members. You missed your own meeting 2 years ago to come criticize Mr. Salkin. The fact that 2 meetings went by and the elected mayor of this council and this city was not there demanding her resignation is sad. It's disheartening. And the fact that the statement you made today was weak, you said, well, just because Mr. Goodman says it's okay, I guess it's okay. And for you not to listen to the people who spoke here tonight is really sad, John, and I really thought you were better than that. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Joanna Calle, Hackensack, New Jersey.
I'm just telling you.
I was not going to speak because I actually like to keep my hats different. I know, Mayor, you're used to changing your hats when it's convenient, but I'd like to make sure that my hats are pretty separate. So I am speaking here as a resident of Hackensack, not as a board member, even though I serve on the Board of Education, brought my flag. I am not a member of the queer community, but I'm an ally. And to hear what was just said, as an ally, I have to stand up here and say that's ridiculously wrong. It is horrific that we just heard that, and that your tepid statement allowed for that to be said. Because you could have stopped that statement from even happening if you had actually said that you wanted her off the board, and you actually said that those statements were repugnant and were as outraged as everyone else. It is our job as allies to stand up for the LGBT community. It is ridiculous. People are talking about Garden State Equality like there's some weird organization that is somehow making this country worse. Garden State Equality is preventing people from dying. Advocate, my day job is being an advocate for people who are constantly attacked by the government. I'm an immigrant rights advocate, so I'm fighting with the federal government on a regular. So I understand what it's like when the government does not stand with your community. And to see what has been done to the LGBT community with the sanction of the government every single age since they've been publicly around fighting for the rights. The reason why Garden State Equality exists and the reason why the curriculum exists is because people continue to oppress LGBT people. That's why. That's right. That's why they continue to be needed. So for members, elected officials, to not try to stop that, to not try and undo it, because the fact is, we're behind. Someone mentioned, the gentleman liked to mention the AIDS epidemic. Well, we had a whole generation of men who died to the AIDS epidemic at the oversight of the federal government. That's right. And so government officials have to undo the generations of oppression of LGBT people. You see it here, and this is your role. You have to be a leader and do the right thing. That's what you have to do. And as a member and as an ally, as a straight person who is actually privileged of not having to deal with oppression, it is my job to stand for you. That's right. That's right. So stand up for them. Stand up for the men who are sitting here talking about how they're members of the LGBT community and deserve to see people stand up for them. And to have and say, saying that a member of the LGBT community forgave her sounds like I have a black friend. Thank you. That's what that sounds like. Because I can tell you the LGBT community will not stand by that. The black community understands what oppression looks like. As an immigrant community member, I know what oppression looks like, and that's what this looks like right now. So stand up.
Good evening, Council. My name is Anna Wong. I'm actually a Paramus resident, but I have a lot of friends in Hackensack. I've been really involved locally here in Hackensack. I want to touch on a few things. History, which is the curriculum we're talking about. History is how we learn not to repeat our mistakes as a people. That's why it's important. You can't erase us, and you can't opt out of our existence. We are here. We've always been here. Apologies are for things like using the wrong pronoun, or maybe assuming I'm a boy, or calling me sir. Those apologies I will accept. But you don't get to say sorry for the hatred that you have in your heart. And there's a difference between free speech and hate speech. There's a difference between religious freedom and civil rights. Because when your religious freedom infringes on my civil rights, that's not okay. I know a lot of pastors who are also a part of our LGBTQ community. God accepts and loves us all. But you know what God does not accept? Having hate in your heart. So when you're calling someone out for their hate speech, it is not the same as bullying. You don't get to hide behind the cloak of First Amendment free speech rights. You don't get to hide behind the cloak of conservatism or Christianity or any other category that you want to pull out. Because what you're doing in your words are hurting an entire community of people, and especially children. 40% of trans youth attempt suicide. Words matter. She can have this opinion in the privacy of her home as a private constituent. But when you're serving as a publicly elected official, the standards are higher. Your inaction emboldened this man to come up and say in this room that being LGBTQ is a sickness and a disorder. You should be ashamed to be enabling this kind of gross misinformation and hate. And if after all of this you still decide to do nothing, I will dedicate the next 2 years to getting her recalled. Because all we need is 5,400 signatures. And I know you don't know me or you may not know me, but I knocked on 30,000 doors in 6 months last year. And I will get this done, and I will make it right. I will get this done, and I will make it right for the people of Hackensack if you don't.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Layla Amir Hamza. I'm a resident here in Hackensack. I'm speaking today as a resident and homeowner in Hackensack, while I'm also on the Board of Education. I'm not speaking in my capacity on the board. By day, I'm an advocate as the Director of Development for New Jersey Citizen Action, an organization that fights for social, racial, and economic justice for all. And really, I want to echo everything that everyone here has said tonight and stand in solidarity with our LGBTQ community. It is our duty as members of the same community, as neighbors, and as members of the human race to promote equality, to promote justice, and to ensure that our students, that our staff, and our community have access to a welcoming and inclusive environment in which to learn. And it is your duty as public servants to represent the entire community and everyone who lives in the community. I don't really care whether one person apologizes. I care whether one student is affected by the words that they heard, is affected by the fact that their mayor could not stand up for them and say that they care more about students than they do about a particular candidate that they supported. I care about that student that feels alone and feels like they are other and don't belong because they had no one to speak up for them. It is easy to do something when it is politically expedient to change parties, when the national swell is going against a particular candidate, or that seems to be happening here in Hackensack. It's easy to denounce racist remarks made by a sheriff after they were made on tape. I'm asking you to do the difficult thing, to actually do what is right, even if it goes against a particular candidate that you supported, and stand up instead for the entire community that you're elected to serve.
Ron Vitello, 78 Ross Avenue. Sir. I moved into town 6 years ago with my husband. We have lived in town since Election Day 2013. We are going on Thursday afternoon down to a Loving Choice Adoption Agency in Spring Lake to sign up to be a waiting family for a child who's in need of adoption. And in our application for our state certification to adopt, one of the questions asks, how are you going to, help your child adjust to the fact that they're in a sort of a different kind of a family as a same-sex couple. And we wrote in the application that we're not worried about that because we live in Hackensack, and that this community has families of all different types, and our children will go to school and meet other people who see things differently and view things differently, and who have different kinds of families, and who don't live with a man and one woman, and who might live with grandparents or aunts and uncles or cousins or someone else who has to take care of them. They might be in class with someone who's living in a shelter, and that's not the case in a lot of towns in New Jersey, but it's the case here, and that's the town that you're the leaders of. I am not involved politically here. I have never made a political donation here. When I'm a Democrat, when the Democrats come around and they want to put a lawn sign on my lawn, I have them put a lawn sign out. But aside from that, I really don't get involved in politics. But I follow the news. I get the mail. I get your mailers in the house that announce the lacrosse team and who's on it. And I think there's just a real lack of leadership. I mean, you represent a broad community of which I'm a part. And I was at the school board meeting where Ms. Kajelja made her so-called apology, and respectfully, it's just not an apology. What she said was, I hold conservative views that I'm allowed to hold under the First Amendment, But I realized how my comments could be taken out of context and seen as harmful. And if anyone was upset by them, I apologize to them, and I'll try to choose my words more carefully. And then at the end of the meeting, she says the mistake I made was that I should have sent that email from a different account. Now, I respect her right to hold the opinions that she has and to hold the conservative views that she has. And when my children come home and say, someone said something crazy in class today, I'm going to say, well, you know what, that's what makes this country great. That she can hold that view and I can hold my view, and we can all be here under this country. But you also have leadership of this town. And when you say this person's on your team, it's embarrassing that we have to wait for U.S. senators and the county executive and the legislators of the district to call on you to call this person to step down. You should say, there's no room on the LaBrosse team for this person. There's room in this town. There's room in this town for this person. There's room in this country for this person, but there's no room on the LaBrosse team if I'm going to be the leader of this town and represent this community.
That's right.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, motion to close to the public?
Offer.
Second. All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Ms. Von Rudenberg?
Thank you to everyone who came out to voice their opinions and their feelings and their thoughts tonight. I just want to switch gears real quick. This past weekend was the closing ceremonies for baseball. There are two people that I want to give credit to. Over the past season, there's been a lot of rough patches in the program due to rain and problems with the fields. But I want to thank the President Jerry Reed and Vice President Mike Oates, who did a phenomenal job of getting all the kids out there on the fields, as well as the DPW. And the rec department for helping out and letting these kids get out there and play in the sun and not be stuck inside. And that's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Steph. As usual, I like to try and hit some of the highlights of items that were on the docket for tonight to just reinforce some of the important issues as I see them. One thing I'd just like to start off, not that it's an important issue, but it's really wonderful that we had so many 4th of July sponsors. I know that we do a wonderful event every year, and we usually have a very good attendance. Let's hope for great weather. And it's wonderful that the community, people, the businesses, et cetera, come forward and help us, enable us to provide that type of opportunity for not only folks in Hackensack, folks that come from all over to be there. A couple of important things on the agenda tonight, financial issues. We had two substantial financial things, one that was adopted and another one that was introduced to be adopted next time. One was about doing the streetscape work on Main Street, as many of you know, where the city is investing heavily in infrastructure support for the city and especially for the downtown as it grows. $6.6 million is a kind of hefty amount, but just want folks to know that we've received about $2 million in grants to date on that, and we'll continue to receive grant money to offset some of that. And the developers on Main Street will also be repaying the city for their portion. So as we do the streetscape in front of their properties, we'll also be receiving reimbursements for that. So I think it's a well-spent idea. The other one that was introduced was doing some repairs on the Atlantic Street Garage. Anyone who's been in the Atlantic Street Garage recently knows that there's some areas there that have been neglected for a very, very, very long time. And now with the changes in our downtown, and now with Hack folks using it to go to our Performing Arts Center, we really have to get that back in shape. So I think both of those are very worthwhile investments for the city, and those are two of the topics on tonight from a financial perspective. Another, I think, critical thing that's on the agenda tonight is we've seen issues with electronic smoking to minors and the dangers that imposes. So we increased our ordinance that pertains to 21 years old for smoking cigarettes. We've now added to that to have that include electronic cigarettes as well. So we will be imposing that, and there's licensing that goes along with businesses that provide or sell electronic cigarettes or electronic smoking devices, and 21 years of age will be required to make those type of purchases in the city of Hackensack. I want to thank everyone for coming. It's always nice to have a lot of folks come out and speak. We were listening to you. That's why we're here, and that's why you're here. We welcome you back again. Have a nice evening, everyone. Thank you.
David?
I want to say congratulations to all the students who graduated or moved up this week. This Thursday, we will have our first movie under the stars, which will be Spider-Man Into the Universe. Good night. Thanks for coming out.
I agree with Mr. Servo. Speeding is a problem in the city of Hackensack, and I've been talking to the city manager and tried to establish the table bombs to try to force the people to reduce the speed. I'm sorry about what happened. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Leo. Tonight, several of us attended the high school graduation where they graduated 488 seniors. It was a nice night, a little hot out there, but we got through it. Went pretty well. Had a good crowd. I'm going to speak for myself. There's no hate in my heart for anybody in this room, on either side. Absolutely no hate in my heart, all right? That's not true either. Has any of you spoken to Mrs. Kajelja? Okay, well, I have, and we have. And we accepted, listen, we read our statement. Ma'am, you're not allowed to speak from there. It's our turn to speak. I'm sorry. I listened to her. I don't believe she's a hateful person. Listen, I could sit here and say there's a Board of Ed that before this Board of Ed that asked people of color to move out of this city. Okay? And no, there was no boo-hoo over it because it was all politics at the time. All right?
There was no boo-hoo among the white people, lady. Exactly.
Well, it wasn't about white or black. It was about blue. That was about blue or red. I'm just making a comment, making a reference to something.
You're making a reference that there was a problem with people of color, and they were okay with that.
Listen, I'm not going to go back and forth. We're not going to go. You're looking to trap me to go back and forth. I understand what's going on. That said, I hold no ill will towards anybody in this room. I wish everybody the best and have a safe trip home. Thank you. Motion to close.